Hello everybody, welcome back to the first video of our next unit. So this unit we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines, how to write the equations, then you will be introduced to scatter plot, graphs and line of best fit. So today we will start with lesson 5.5 part 1, and the main focus will be writing equations of parallel lines. So first thing, when we have parallel lines, it means we have two lines on the graph and also we have two equations. Now I'm going to ask you to make sure you write this down in your notes, and this is also an example of how to write good Cornell notes that will help you to organize your thoughts and also be able to follow the steps of the solutions and apply the same skills solving practice examples. So I come up with just general topic of those notes called Math Cornell video notes, unit examples. You can definitely write your name if you want to use those Cornells as independent packet, or you want to use it on your notebooks. Totally up to you. Just make sure you have all the information written down. So level folder 1, lesson 5.5 part 1, and the thing that you always have to remember is when we have a parallel lines, and you can imagine those two lines parallel to each other, and their slope of the lines will be the same. They have the same steepness, one goes this way, the other one goes the same way, they're an equal distance from each other, so we do have parallel lines, same slopes. So no matter what type of equations you have to work with, y equals mx plus b equations will be the ones that you can always check slopes. We know that the numbers in front of x represent the slope. If the two equations have exactly the same numbers, positive or both negative with the same number digit, then we call these two equations parallel lines and same slopes. So for example, here we have negative 1/3 for both of those two equations, both negatives, both have the same digits, same slope, so definitely those two equations represent parallel lines. I also add practice assignments for you to practice with later. They are on Schoology, but I decide it's going to be helpful too if you can see them a little bit up front. This will be from the textbook, page 322, 5 to 1133. This is what you have to complete once you're done with your notes. So now, if you need to pause the video to finish this slide and copy those two examples, perfect, please do so. If you're ready to move on, I will just keep going, and again, with the video options, you have an option to pause and wait and rewatch. My job will be to complete the video. So, example number 1. We have given information of one point of the graph, an equation of the line. So our job will be to write the equation of the line that passes through the given point and is parallel to the given line. So this will be one line on the graph, and this will be point from the second line. So in order to write this equation and find the equation of the second line with the parallel slope or steepness of the line, first thing we want to write down what is the slope of this equation. So I'm going to put the slope here is equal to -1. We all know that if there is no number in front of x, it means we have 1 here. So the slope is -1. Now, that is awesome. next thing we want to do is we're going to use the coordinates of this point and the slope, and we'll use y equals mx plus b form, so we can get y-intercept or b of this second line. So for the second line, x and y coordinates from here, we have y as -3 equals to, because the lines are parallel, you're using the same slope, -1 times, and x is 5 plus b. Once you set up your equation and you write down the slope intercept form and you substitute the coordinates of the point and the same slope, then you have to solve for b. So what we're looking for is b. How do we solve for b? We write -3 is equal to -1 times 5 as -5 plus b. One more step, we're going to add 5 to each side. Those two cancel, so b is equal to 2. Well, perfect. We can just finish the second equation of these two parallel lines. So the equation from here will be y is equal to same slope, -1, x, and then y-intercept for this line will be plus 2. So that will be the equation of the second line. This is the equation of the first line. If we compare those two, we do have parallel lines because both of the slopes are -1. And with this, we finish the example. So go ahead and try the second one. Try this next example. You have given point and equation. So what do we set? Step 1 will be the slope. The slope of this will be m equals 5. And because we are talking about parallel lines, definitely we're going to use the same exact slope. So the parallel line for this equation will be y equals mx plus b. Again, this is your x, this is your y. Go ahead, substitute please with the right numbers and complete the example on your own. A few seconds after, you can go back to, or a minute after, you can go back to the video and see the final solution for it. So pause the video right now, complete the problem, and come back to the video. So y is 2, m is 5, times x is -1 plus b. 2 equals -5 plus b, plus 5 on each side. Those two cancel, and we have b is equals 7. So the equation of the parallel line, second line, will be y equals 5x, same exact slope, plus 7. Different y-intercepts, but always the same slopes. Alright, nice. Let's move on to the next two examples. So next example here, we have given number 3, again, point and an equation. Well, I want you to look at the difference here is that this equation is not solved for y yet. So remember, every time we need to use y equals mx plus b form. So as a step 1 here, we need to solve that equation for y first, and then we will be able to tell what is the slope of this first line. So if I have step 1, -2y equals 4x minus 6, in order to solve for y, you just need to divide by -2 each one of the terms. This cancel, so y will be equal to -2x. Make sure you simplify. 4 divided by -2. Do this in your calculator. This will give you -2x. -6 over -2, or -6 divided by -2, will be +3. So this will be the equation we're looking for over here. So I'm going to write this over here, -2x plus 3. And I'm going to point that the slope is -2. So now the parallel line equation, y equals mx plus b, to the point, and we substitute y with 5 equals negative 2 for the slope times negative 2 for x, and then plus b. So we're going to get what b is equal to. 5 is equal to negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, plus b. Subtract 4 from each side, so 1 equals b. b is 1. Then the second equation of the second line will be y equals negative 2x plus 1. So this is the second line equation, this is the first one. Both of them have the same slope, and we are showing that those are two parallel lines. Nice. So following the same steps, I want you to try on your own with this one. You gotta solve as step 1 this equation, negative y plus 3x equals 16 first for y, and then you will apply second step, parallel lines. Y equals mx plus b. This is second step. Okay, go ahead and finish that on your own. Welcome back. So I'm going to work on the example, and I will say minus 3x, solving for y, we want to get rid of x term first, so negative y is equal to negative 3x plus 16. Next step, remember when we have a negative variable, we can't leave it like that, we got to divide by negative 1, each one of those terms, this cancel, so y will be equal to 3x minus 16. That will be the first equation. So if I have y equals 3x minus 16, then the slope here is number 3. That's the slope I need to use to get my second equation. So we're going to substitute these points. Y is 0 equals to 3 times x is negative 10, and then plus b. So 0 equals 3 times negative 10 is negative 30 plus b. We're going to add 30 to each side. Those two cancel. 0 plus 30 is 30 equals b. We have b, and I can finalize and write the equation of the second line, which is y equals 3x plus 30. Both of those are parallel, and we are done. Alright, so if you need to rewatch the steps, please do so. If you're ready to move on, I'm going to show you the last two examples of this video, and they will be slightly different because now the equations will be given in point slope form. Okay, look at the equations. We have a point. So again, well, this equation is not an y equals mx plus b form, right? So we gotta calculate that. We need to get what this m is. Step 1, we're gonna solve and rewrite this equation here as a y equals mx plus b form. So y minus 7 equals 6 times x minus 4. Alright, well, everybody knows that when we multiply a number times something inside the parentheses, we gotta use distributive property here. So we have y minus 7 is equal to 6 times x will be 6x, 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. Well, one more step. We are solving for y, so I just need to plus 7 on each side. And I will get y is equal to 6x, negative 24 plus 7 will give me negative 17. And there you go, this is my first equation, y equals 6x minus 17. From this equation, I can point out the slope is equal to 6. And then we will repeat the same exact step what we had done earlier. So, second step for parallel lines will be, we are using this coordinates of the point, so y is negative 8 equals to, slope is 6 times, x coordinate is 9 plus b. Solving for b, negative 8 equals 6 times 9 is 54 plus b. negative 62 is equal b. And the equation for this second line will be y equals 6x, same exact slope, minus 62 for b. With that, we can complete the problem. Okay, very last example, another try for you. Please follow my steps, try it on your own, don't cheat with the video. I know it's easy to follow the steps, but I really need you to try before you begin with the actual practice on your own. So take a moment, follow the steps, and then check with me to complete the video. Alright, so we're back. We have the equation here, y minus 4 equals 2 over 3x plus 5. Solving this equation, applying distributive property. Y minus 4 is equal to 2 over 3x, and then plus 2/3 times 5 will give you 10 over 3. We're going to plus 4 to each side. Y equals 2/3 x. Okay, so now I'm going to use the calculator to get what is 10/3 plus 4. So 10/3 plus 4 will give me 7.33 as a decimal number. So I'm going to just put here plus 7.33. Definitely you can use a decimal number for the y-intercept. If you want to convert this to a fraction, that will be fine. It's not such a big deal. Really what is important is to find out what the slope is, because we need to use that slope. So the equation of this will be y equals 2/3 x plus 7.33. The slope is 2/3, and we're going to use the slope to complete second parallel line equation. And I will use y is 2 equals to, slope is 2/3 times 18 plus b. 2 equals to 2/3 times 18 will be 12 plus b, minus 12 minus 12, so negative 10 equals b. This is b, and the equation of the second line is y equals to 2/3 x minus 10. With that, we are done with the video and ready to begin some practice examples. Before you start your own work, I just want to quickly summarize what we just did. So we started with the main points, the notes, and I ask you to copy those down and make sure you understand that in order to have a parallel lines, we always have two equations with exactly the same slope. This is the rule for two parallel lines. Then I did a couple examples showing you if we have a point and equation already in slope-intercept form, what do we need to do in order to get the second line? So for the second line here, we didn't have to show solve this equation. We just had to use the slope and find out what y-intercept will be for the second equation, second parallel line, and solve it and write down the equation. There was another example similar to this. So if we have given the equation in slope-intercept form, this is the only step you need to do. Then we talk about if you have given problem not in slope-intercept form, but something like this, maybe even not in standard form. It's just, you know, negative 2y equals 4x minus 6. Definitely it's not, y is not itself. So we gotta do the step to solve and let y be itself. From this point we can tell what the slope is. Then we're using the point and the slope to write down the second parallel line equation. And the final two examples were just an examples. If we have given equation in point slope form, then what do you need to do? You have to solve the equation, make it look like y equals mx plus b, from which you can write the slope and then finalize and solve the second parallel line equation. Well, I'm really hoping this helps. Please, again, follow the steps, the example you're going to practice with will be very similar, just different numbers. So if you have your notes written down and if you're watching the video as many times you need to, you would not have any problem solving